Hello, this is Dreamspirit, and this is my first commentary video. I actually had a few requests, and I also realized that I've seen so many people put out some really great videos that have drastically helped me in the arena, and while I don't consider myself a pro, I'd hope that I could maybe give some people out there some tips. I'd hope that I'd be able to show some people out there some of the things that I do in order to help my arena game. This time I chose to perhaps a match with my Warlock partner, who's SL. And the match that I chose was versus a Disc Priest and a Lock, another strong 2 setup, and here's the match. So in the beginning of the match, it basically starts out with my Warlock on their healer and their Warlock on me. One of the things that I decided to do here was to stay as much out of sight as possible, so hopefully I would be able to pounce the priest and get in a free first CC. So I pounce the priest, and then I start playing LOS games as quickly as possible and start cursing and such. I realized here that my curse macro actually was not working, so I was having to click it. I'm about 50% click and about 50% key bindings now. I'm still trying to work on that. The strategy they're doing right now is they're trying to CC my partner and mana burn him, and then the Warlock is trying to put a lot of DPS pressure on me. In comparison, our strategy is to try to put as much pressure as we can on the priest so that he's not mana burning, and to also try to drain him slowly. One of the tricks here is they have the advantage in terms of mana draining capabilities. So I cheat a form, I try to see if I lose the Warlock, and it actually ends up that the Warlock does switch targets and does switch to my partner. So I try to find the right opportunity to run out, and then try to start a cyclone rotation. One of the problems I had in this match was that every time it seemed that I tried to come out and start a CC rotation, one of them would get either a silence off on me or the puppy would spell lock me. So I was trying as much as I could to try to cyclone and then run back around the pillar. If they get a good fear off, they can mana burn and mana drain and continue to CC us to oblivion. So it's really important that for me that I'm trying to LOS as much as possible. We end up, because of fear, in one of the most unideal positions on the map, and I start trying to defensively heal as quickly as possible in order to keep my partner from dying. He's actually out of mana really hard, so I then try to take it upon myself to try to CC as much as possible at this point in order to try to catch up, essentially. Because as long as they're not doing additional DPS, my partner's mana will have a chance to catch up a little bit, because then he starts dancing around the columns as well. At this point, they actually switched to me as a DPS target, and I just decide that because I'm at about 40% mana, that I'm just going to dance around the column as much as humanly possible. I succeed for a little while, and then the Warlock gets in a good fear eventually, though I am able to LOS a few of them. During this time for fights like this where there's a puppy on me, I'm usually trying to use instants as much as possible. Simply because if I don't, I end up, undoubtedly getting spell locked at the worst time possible. Also, if my partner seems to be doing decently on health, I'll also usually try to do 2 hots, and then I'll try to use a longer heal or cyclone in order to try to lure them to spell lock me. Because at that point I'll have hots running the entire time, and the spell lock won't actually do much to my playstyle. So then hopefully by the time that I'm unspell locked, that I can resume doing what I want to unfettered pretty much for a little period of time. In any case, at this point, we've succeeded in, I've been CCing the Warlock as much as I can while healing my partner, and my partner's really been able to focus on the priest quite a bit. The priest has not been able to get many mana burns in. On some games, if the priest is hiding a lot, I'll end up doing a lot more bear form and trying to keep him from running away so much. What actually happens here is the priest goes out of mana hard, and we couldn't find him for a couple seconds in there, but since he was out of mana, we start to put pressure on the Warlock, hoping that essentially trying to put pressure on the Warlock that we'll be able to lure the Priest out. At this point also, this is right after the 2.4 patch, so my Cyclone range got nerfed from 30 yards to 20. So one of the things I'm having trouble with here is trying to find the right range in order to be able to Cyclone, but be out of range for some of the other spells like Silence. And still haven't quite succeeded with that. At this point also, I'm out of mana extremely hard, so one of the things I start doing is just trying to LOS as much as humanly possible right now to keep this Warlock lord around me. Eventually he knows his partner is very low and he's just a little too late to go over to help. So we end up winning the match. One of the other things that's incredibly important that I found is a neat little trick is that if I have a fell puppy on me for an extended period of time, I'm usually stripped of buffs, so when I actually want to innervate, usually the buff gets eaten off pretty quickly. So one of the things that my Warlock partner will usually try to do is he'll try to banish, and then I will try to run off a little bit and pop my innervate. The only problem was during this match that he got something around the lines of 3 resists, so I ended up needing to pop the innervate just to keep from going entirely out of mana, but it's time to waste it that way. One of the other things that I find is really crucially important playing with an SL Warlock is trying to keep their pet alive. For melee heavy teams it can be very much a trick, and in some cases he simply has to summon a Voidwalker because the pet will be insta-gib pretty easily if I'm CC'd. But at all times I'm trying to be very conscious of the pet's health, and to also be well aware whether it's the first or second summon, so that I know whether or not it's worth letting it die or if I really need to focus on it. In any case, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message. And likewise, if there's any matches that you'd like to see me do a commentary with, please give me a holler and I'd be more than happy to. I really love YouTube, and I love the ability for people to share information and hopefully help each other out in arena matches and such. I have no desire to have like an EPing contest or anything. I know that I'm not pro, and I'm always striving to improve. And so anyways, yeah. Thanks guys for the support on my videos, and you can expect more in the future.